Ryan and Tom, two best friends, had long dreamed of a road trip through abandoned suburbs and forests. The journey promised to be exciting: old towns, solitary diners, deserted roads, and beautiful scenery. However, this time, they chose Route 49, known for its bad reputation. Locals avoided it because of constant strange events and accidents, but the guys laughed off the warnings, treating them as just spooky tales. As evening approached, they finally got onto the infamous road. Fog was rolling in fast, and as darkness fell, the two decided to keep going. The sky was covered with heavy clouds, almost blocking out all light, making everything around them seem like endless, thick darkness. Soon, their only guide was the headlights on the empty road. "Feels like we've been driving for hours, and there's still no sign of a town," Tom said, feeling a bit uneasy. "Don't worry, Tom," Ryan tried to reassure him, though he sounded unsure himself. "We'll hit a diner or something soon, grab a bite, and check the map." Another hour passed, then another. They saw no cars, no signs, nothing. They realized they were stuck on this deserted road, and they were running out of gas. Around them, a thick wall of fog closed in, and the air felt heavy, almost like it was pressing down on them. "Maybe we should turn around," Tom suggested, but at that moment, the headlights caught the figure of someone standing on the road. Ryan slammed on the brakes, and the car screeched to a halt. A tall, thin man was standing right in front of them, head bowed. He wore ragged, dusty clothes, as if he was from another time. He was still, standing in the beam of the headlights, not reacting to the stopped car. "Excuse me, do you know where the nearest town is?" Ryan called out, lowering the window, though he felt a chill of inexplicable fear. The man slowly lifted his head. His face was deathly pale, and his eyes glowed faintly, as though drained of all life. He squinted slightly, whispering so quietly they could barely hear. "You're stuck here too, but there's no way out." Ryan and Tom exchanged glances, confused and frightened, but before they could say a word, the strange man vanished into the thick fog, as if he'd never been there. "Did you see that?" Tom whispered, not believing his own eyes. "I think so. Let's get out of here while we can," Ryan stammered, his voice shaking. Ryan started the car and tried to turn around, but something went wrong. The engine made strange noises, then suddenly died. The headlights went out, plunging them into total darkness. The silence around them was so complete it felt like the world had disappeared. "Try again," Tom pleaded, feeling panic rising. Ryan turned the key again, but only heard a dull click in response. Suddenly, footsteps sounded close behind them, slow and measured, getting closer to the car. "Whoever it is, they're still out there," Tom whispered, glancing in the rearview mirror, but he couldn't see anything in the darkness. The footsteps came right up to the car and stopped. Silence returned, but they sensed someone standing just outside the window. A knock on the glass made them both jump. Slowly turning their heads, they saw the pale face of the same man, staring at them with lifeless eyes. "You can't leave," he whispered, barely moving his lips. Tom screamed and instinctively tried to open the door to run, but it wouldn't budge, as if someone was holding it shut from the outside. The knocking started again, now from the other side, and then another knock, and another, surrounding them with the sound of dirty fingers tapping on the glass. Panic took hold of both of them. Ryan, losing control, pounded on the steering wheel, trying desperately to start the car. Suddenly, as if in answer to his pleas, the engine roared to life and the headlights flicked on, illuminating the empty road. The figures had disappeared, as if they'd never been there. "Drive!" Tom shouted, and Ryan hit the gas. He sped down the highway, not looking back, focused only on escaping this nightmare. But soon, the road began to twist and stretch oddly, and the trees seemed to close in. Then they noticed a familiar sight. They were back where they started, at the same spot on the road. "How is this possible?" "We drove straight," Tom shouted, feeling ice-cold fear spreading through his veins. Suddenly behind them, the faint silhouette of a man appeared again, slowly approaching. His face twisted into a dark grin, as if he knew they wouldn't escape. "You're trapped," whispered his voice, echoing closer and closer in their minds. Realizing they were in an inescapable trap, Ryan and Tom tried again to flee, only to find themselves back in the same place, where unseen shadows, fog, and the eerie stranger awaited them. And so, it went on through the night, their cries for help swallowed by the silent emptiness of the forest, while Route 49 led them deeper into an endless nightmare.